What's going on, guys? It's the Hunter Project here. Welcome to my channel where you'll find monster news, builds and playthroughs. Hope you do enjoy the video, and if you could smash that like and subscribe button, I would extremely appreciate it. Without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. So today I'll be bringing you my definitive Charge Blade Savage Axe build that doesn't use Fortify or Heroics, of course, because when people go for a lot of DPS, they usually go for one of those two skills in their build, but this is going to be purely just none of that, just straight damage build as much as possible. And if I do say so myself, it is quite overpowered in terms of all the armor skills I managed to put in. The build is targeted towards more aggressive players, however be sure to change up any decorations here and there to fit your playstyle. This build fully overrides my original Charge Blade video, as it is the exact same intention to the build but much more refined. So guys, let's get right into the equipment. So starting out with the Charge Blade, we'll of course be using the Fatalis Charge Blade with the health augment, but be sure to add extra augments as I haven't got around to adding the extra ones. So if you do want to add additional augmentation, go for it. As for the armour, we'll be running all Fatalis B parts, except for the arms, where we'll be running the Alatreon's A piece. And finally, this is accompanied by the Challenger Charm level 5. But of course, if you can't get level 5, as high of a level as possible as you can possibly get it would be suggested, but of course try your hardest to get the level 5, as it is a massive damage increase and it's really useful. And as for the mantles, it's all personal preference, but of course just go for whatever you feel most comfortable with. For the majority, I assume that would be Rocksteady and Temporal, but once again, it's all down to personal preference and dependent on what monster you're fighting. Moving swiftly onto the decorations, here's a screenshot of them slotted into each armor piece as neatly as I possibly could. This does require quite a few juicier decorations, so I'd recommend farming out either one of the decoration quests if they are active, or just farming Dragon Vein to spam Steamworks for melding tickets. Do note that the decorations in the mantles can be changed to whatever you want, as this specific screenshot is when I was facing Fatalis, so I do have both mantles with heavy artillery, so then regardless of whichever mantle I had up, I could easily just hop onto the roaming ballista. So as a result of all these decorations, we have come to this overload of pure destruction. We have maxed out Critical Eye, Attack Boost and Agitator for a crazy damage boost when fighting the monster, and an even more deadly increase in damage when fighting the monster enraged, which should be the majority of the time since Iceborne release, to be honest. This pretty much forces you and rewards you for utilising the wallbangs as much as you can, so you can get that juicy damage number from the wallbang, leading into a solid just general increase in damage, while the weakened state is, well, sorry, not the weakened state, the agitated state is active. Then we have Evade Window, which will just allow us to more easily iframe all the monsters' attacks and the raw. We got Tool Specialist, help us swap between our mantles with as little downtime as possible, which is a massive plus. We have Stun Resistance as our intrinsic skill of the build, which is quite self-explanatory and saves you from that lovely experience where you are stun locked and the monster is charging up that one-shot move Fatalis on Alatreon. Then we have Critical Boost, which gives us a juicy 40% increase in crit damage, which is once again kind of self-explanatory, unless you're aiming to lower your damage for some questionable reason. Weakness Exploit allows us to get the most of weakening a monster's body part, which is mandatory at master rank anyways, if you're trying to kill a monster in reasonable time, because of course you're going to get a massive decrease in damage if you're not weakening parts, which I still don't know if I agree with the new system they've made, or if I just prefer the older system. Still very torn on which side of the debate I'm on with that. And then we've got the Power Prolonger, which allows us to maintain our Savage Axe for longer, with Focus helping us to build up the files quicker. So of course it just increases the amount of time that we are attacking, decreases the amount of time we're prepping the Charge Blade for when we're going all out with damage. And then we've got Capacity Boost, which gives us that extra file, which is extremely useful for every Charge Blade build. I don't think you'll ever find a Charge Blade build that doesn't revolve around it, because Savage Axe just allows you to run it longer, and then if you're running with a super amp build, it just gives you a lot more extra damage, so I don't see why it would not be included in any Charge Blade build. And then finally, the last skill in our armour is Coalescence, which just gives us an increase in raw damage and elemental attack or status build up depending on the weapon you're using, and this just procs as soon as we get rid of the blight regardless of what type it is. And last but not least, we have the mantle additions, which of course, as I previously said in this build, is the heavy artillery, but you could change this to be focus if you wanted to, so you can finish the build in a more complete way, because I think that's the one skill other than Coalescence, well, the one skill that's directly related to the charge blade that isn't maxed out in terms of the level and skill. But of course, as I said before, it's all personal preference. This brings us to the conclusion of the video, guys, and yeah, if you did enjoy, like and subscribe would be extremely appreciated. Be sure to check out the build and use it for yourself, it's extremely fun to use, and yeah, be sure to check out some of my other Monster Hunter content, and I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.